Story time with Grandad. Mrs. Armitage, Queen of the Road by Quentin Blake. One morning, Mrs. Armitage came downstairs and found a letter on the doormat. She read it to her faithful dog Breakspear. It said, "Dear Anastasia, because I am buying a new motorcycle, I won't need my old car anymore. I would like you to have it as a present. It's parked outside. Here are the keys. With love, your Uncle Cosmo." Mrs. Armitage and Breakspear went outside. There was the car. "It doesn't look very exciting, Breakspear," said Mrs. Armitage, "but we'll give it a try." They climbed into the car and off they went. They hadn't gone far when they drove over a big hole in the road. Bing bong, dang bong. All the hubcaps fell off. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Hubcaps," she said. "Who needs them?" She tossed them in the car, and on they went to the junkyard. But as they were going around the corner by the vinegar factory, scrunch! The fender was ruined. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Fenders?" she said. "Who needs them?" She tossed them in the car, and on they went to the junkyard. They were backing out of the junkyard when scrang! The front bumper caught on some old bed springs. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "Bumpers?" she said. "Who needs them?" She threw them on the scrap heap, and on they went. They had just passed the supermarket when a truck backed into the street, scrunch, right into the hood. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "The hood," she said. "Who needs it?" She threw it in the trash, and on they went. There was quite a traffic jam beside the new building site, where a big crane was moving heavy blocks of concrete. Back and forth it went, back and forth, up and down, when suddenly, crunch! Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "A roof," she said. "Who needs it?" She threw it in the trash, and on they went. "Breakspear," said Mrs. Armitage, "I think it's time for us to get out of this town." They went down a side road into the country. All around them were trees, and the birds were singing. "Breakspear," said Mrs. Armitage, "this is blissful." But the road got bumpier and bumpier. Ba-ding, ba-dong, ba-dung, ba-doing, clunk. All the doors fell off, and the trunk as well. Mrs. Armitage got out to look at the damage. "All this stuff, Breakspear," she said. "Who needs it? Let's throw it all in the trash and be on our way." But at that moment there was a roar. It was Uncle Cosmo on his new bike. His friends were there too. Gizzy and Lulu, Ferdinando and Smudge. They were out for a ride. They all gathered around to look at Mrs. Armitage's car. "Wow," said Gizzy, "that's a fantastic machine." "We're off to the Crazy Duck Cafe for a game of billiards and a can of banana fizz," said Uncle Cosmo. "You must come too." "But first, have this leather jacket," Smudge said to Mrs. Armitage. "I've grown too big to wear it." "And you and Breakspear must have collars," said Lulu. "I don't need 3. "And have one of our bendy flags," said Gizzy. We don't need both of them." "And let me give you a horn," said Ferdinando. "I don't need 5 of them, and it's always good to have a horn." Off they roared to the Crazy Duck Cafe, and out in front with her faithful dog Breakspear was Mrs. Armitage, Queen of the Road.